This episode is brought to you by Anivia Pickleball, your premier destination for high-quality pickleball paddles designed to elevate your game. At Anivia, they are committed to providing players across Canada with innovative, performance-driven pickleball paddles crafted for durability, precision, and ease of play. Irene and myself are currently using their Gen 3 Pro paddle, and if you head over to Anivia.com and enter the code AGORMAN15, you get 15% off your order. That's AGORMAN15 at Anivia.com. All right, on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pickleball Diaries podcast. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Gorman, and I'm joined by certified pickleball referee Victor Chan. How's it going, Vic? I can't speak.
Too bad. Not too bad. Recovering from shingles, actually. It's not looking good.
And you got it right after we were finished hosting our MiLP, which really sucked. So basically, you basically got burnt out. So
yeah, I look like people that's watching on the podcast. I look better now, but it was not. Well, at least it's just my left side of the face. I didn't have in anywhere else except the left side, like left forehead and maybe near eyebrows area. But still annoying, and luckily it was considered as mild symptoms according to the medical doctor. But anyway, it was really bugging me because for everyone that knows, I have a baby, and I unfortunately for baby they couldn't have that vaccine yet at their young age. I think it's like 6 months or a year. So I need to kind of self-isolate myself because I don't want to touch her. I don't want to get her to get it that soon. So, and anyway, it has been a big hassle.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so, and for those of you also watching, you can see that I'm rocking my Team Canada jersey from Vancouver 2010, because of course we are in the middle of the Olympics. Also, Happy Valentine's Day. We are recording this on February 14th, and of course we're two husbands who are doing a podcast instead of hanging out with our wives. So,
well, at least I bought flowers for my wife, right?
Well, my wife's in GP reffing volleyball right now, so I did. I'm kind of off the hook with that one. So
you got pass.
Yeah, I get a pass for this one. We'll probably go out for dinner on like Monday or Tuesday night. So
nice.
But yeah,
so you have to go for Tuesday on Tuesday. Well, I don't know if you celebrate Lunar New Year. For us, Tuesday is gonna be Chinese New Year. So
awesome.
we definitely gonna have to do something. Well, we're planning to do it at home because of the baby. We didn't want to be too crowded, but usually we'll try to eat well, obviously.
Nice, perfect. There you go. There's some plans right there. We do have a really good Chinese restaurant here in Peace River, so maybe they'll have some deals going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, on this episode, our first thing we're gonna talk about is, of course, we had our MiLP event last weekend. We had our 3v3. Unfortunately, the women's event didn't go ahead. We didn't get enough teams for that one, but the men's one went ahead because we had lots. Out of a possible 34 teams, we had 25, 26, Vic? Something like that?
Something like that, 25? I want
to say 25 or 26, one or the other, but it was still a really, really good turnout on the guys' side. All the games were really, really good. Like, I think out of all the gold medal matches, I think there was, what do we have, 4 divisions? Out of the 4 divisions, I think 3 of them went to a third game, and then then in that third game, it was like they were in bonus points, like 28, 26 type finals. So
it was very tight.
Yeah, definitely. So every division was super, super competitive. It was really fun. Our team just fell short of making the crossovers for our DUPR 15 division, and I'm gonna chalk that up to me and Vic also being slightly distracted by also running the tournament at the same time.
I'll take the blame. I was very distracted because we'll get into the hiccups. After
there wasn't many hiccups. Like, the games were flowing pretty good, but we did lose one court due to water damage. So you go from 6 courts to 5 courts. It does kind of throw a wrinkle into how you're running the tournaments.
Yeah, and
And
also the timing, right? Because unfortunately, after 7 o'clock, unfortunately, the facility forgot to give us actually two additional court for running over. We only have one court afterwards, so that really screw us really badly, unfortunately. So
yeah,
like for me, I will have to think, oh, what we're gonna do, how we gonna manage that, and I have to talk go back and forth with the facility owner. Okay, how am I gonna get the second court and stuff? So like a lot of things was going to my head rather than actually just playing, right?
yeah. And even with all that being said, we only ran 2.5 hours over. So like realistically, if we had those two courts or if that water damage didn't happen, we would have been finishing pretty close to right on time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we were scheduled to finish at like about 7. We
Yeah.
finished, I think the final point of the gold medal match for the DUPR 15 happened right around like 9:30,
Yeah, it's
9:40-ish.
around 9:30 because I finished it, right?
Yeah,
I
because
I
you
was
were reffing,
referee.
right? Exactly, right. So like we finished that up. I think we had the medals all awarded and all the prizes awarded, and then we were like we were still cleaning up, but we had started cleaning up probably around 9:45, 10 o'clock ish. Like we had
Yeah.
everyone pretty much out of there by then. So like for the hiccup for losing a whole court and for the miscue with not having the overlap courts thing. Still really good. Like as far as that went, we had nothing but compliments from majority of the
Mhm.
players.
I
Of
think
course,
the
we
play
did.
was actually like yes. At the same time, yeah, we did take the blame of being running late. At the same time, I think most of the player appreciated that we didn't push ahead and use that water damage court because it
Oh,
was
it's too
very
much.
it
It
was
was
first
very
of all
slippery
slip.
over there.
It was slippery, and then what happened is because the water was splashing, and then it's so close to the door. I figured out what happens because it's so close to the door, even though it's not freezing temperature, but because of that cold mist, is creating kind of like an icy condition right on that spot, and it was way too close to that corner baseline. So basically, if you go over there, I think we did saw a kid just because we use it as a practice court. A kid actually went there just well for fun and playing around. He did slip off a little bit on that court, and they like everyone understood that there's no way you're gonna be able to use that court because if you're gonna play on that court, first of all, if you're on that side, you'll be very tentative to move, and if you're opponent, while it's a tournament, I'm gonna hit every shot to that corner. So it's like an unfair advantage for kind of both sides.
Yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, so we did the right thing by not using the court, and yeah, it put us back by an hour or two. But all in all, like as the games went, like I said, the games were good. Didn't have any issues with rules and questionable calls
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So really good with that. Obviously, here we'll do a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, Skechers, we gave away 6 pair, or actually more than 6 pairs. We gave away six pairs to our players. We did a draw, and then we
Yeah.
also gave a couple of pairs out to some of our volunteers who were
Hmm.
bringing godsends to us.
Yeah.
We had Nivea, of course, one of my sponsors. We gave away a bag. Same thing with YOLO, gave away a
Yeah.
bag. Nature's
Thank you.
Path, of course, providing those massive bags. Like they were
Oh
even
yeah,
bigger than
that
last
was
time. They're
oh
like
they were big.
family size bags of granola that every player. And like when we
That
hand
was
them to players,
huge.
they're like, we handed them to players like this was for our whole team, right? And they're like, no, that's just for you. And they're like, wow, right? So
Yeah, they a lot of that was like what
yeah,
the.
so like the players really liked that, and of course the rec room, is specifically the West Edmonton Mall rec room, gave us 2 bands that we
Yeah.
same thing, gave away one to a player and then gave away the other one to kids of volunteer kids that we had.
Mhm.
Of course, Kitchen Blockers was a big sponsor. Franklin, of course, the balls that we use,
Yes.
and then Neil Brothers, of course, with those awesome chips that we had for the winning teams and stuff. And we actually had, because the women's one got canceled, we had a couple left over. So because the DUPR 15 sold out so well, we gave some to the second, third, and fourth place teams as well for that. So
Yeah. They well at the same time, thanks for them to stick around, because that's unfortunately the one that ran over, and we are stuck with one court. And
Yeah.
they actually stay with us till the end.
Yep, yeah, because we had the one court for the semifinals, and we managed to get a second court again by the time the finals and bronze rolled around. So we were able to do both of those at the same time, which was nice. So, and then of course we're going to shout out our volunteers. April once again was a godsend.
Oh yeah.
Mary, Irene, Richard, Kim, and Clark, and then Richard Smith, of course, for taking photos. He was there. He's a photographer. Follow him at Chaos Blades 171 on Instagram. I've already posted all those on Instagram and tagged him in all those. But if you're ever in need of someone to come take photos for an event, Richard's awesome.
Yeah, Richard says he knows quite a bit of pickleball now. He knows what shot to take. So you definitely want, like, if you want an awesome shot of pickleball from him, he knows enough now to he's very patient. He's gonna wait for the great perfect shot for you.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, congrats to all of our winners. Not only did they win some medals and some MiLP points and some other swag, they also got to qualify for the Epic World Championships. We had pictures of them holding the big prop ticket that we had made. So that was really fun. But yeah, so like, yes, aside from some hiccups, which obviously for us as organizers, especially when we're playing as well, caused a little bit of stress. But for that though, it was still what I would consider a very successful tournament. Like we said, insanely good turnout for the men's. Like I said, what happened with the women's was very unfortunate. We're not going to go into super detail about that just because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But big thank you to everyone who signed up and came out. We still have our other two MiLPs coming up. There's not a lot of signups right now. For our Red Deer one, we've switched that to a single day. We have our YAG one, of course, in April. So sign up really quick. But we are looking at the possibility if we don't get signups, we may end up having to shut them down just because, like right now, I think we're at, 3 teams, Vic? For the 2 for 20, and that's it for Red Deer. So
I think
it is what it is. It is what it is. It might be tournament fatigue. It might be it's too early in the year because realistically, there's not a lot of tournaments happening right now. But that's okay. Like if we get ahead of it enough, it's not like we're going to lose money on it, right? So as long as we cancel within the proper window, then it'll be fine. But yeah, a little disappointing that we haven't had a lot of signups for that, but. It is what it is. We got lots of sponsors lined up. We got lots of giveaways to still give away. And if it doesn't end up going through, then hey, giveaways will happen on the podcast and stuff. So we're not gonna make them. We're definitely not gonna make them go to waste. But yeah, once again, thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to everyone who came out and played. We hope you guys had a good time. Thank you. I'm not gonna say it enough. Thank you again to all of our volunteers. You guys were awesome and helping out.
Oh yeah,
and
without them for sure we can run the tournament successfully.
We definitely would have had to pull out our team and just kind of run it ourselves, and even then it would have been really, really tough. Just trying to run around and manage all those players. So yeah. Anytime you're at a tournament and there's volunteers, you make sure you thank those people because they're doing that pretty much out of the goodness of their heart type of thing. So
yeah, big time. Yeah, you definitely cannot. I'll say you cannot put money out just to pay them. Like they put so much time in there. There's no way. There's never enough to compensate them type of thing. Yeah. So, but yeah, we did like make sure we gave everyone something. We had some extra swag, MiLP swag we gave to some. Like we said, we had the Skechers shoes that we gave away to a couple. We had the Rec Room pass that we gave away to the kids. So, we did. So yeah, so we showed our appreciation, but still it didn't feel like enough just because they were so amazing, helping us out. Definitely. I would say, do you want to do a quick after action report or not really?
Like for us, like our team. I thought our team,
our
team,
our
team, or like the tournament itself. Like
both. We can do both.
Okay, so let's do for our team. I'm chalking up a little bit of it to that you and Chris get to play together all the time, and I'm not down there enough to properly practice. So I found, especially for me teaming with the two of you each time, it took like a game and a little bit to readjust to like how I play and how you guys play and like make it
Yeah,
work properly. You
prob
know what I mean?
probably.
And then like you and Chris, like you guys were able to like when you guys were having an issue, you were able to figure it out a lot quicker because you guys are so used to playing with
Yeah,
each other.
we what? Yes and no. Like I will say, I rewatched some of the games. I was like, definitely like the first two games. I'm mentally I'm not there. I can see it. Mentally, I'm not there. My drive was not there. My drop was not there. It like there's nothing was going there. I think I was either I was still thinking about the tournament, or I'm still having that blackbird. Ah, damn, I don't have that court. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Rather than actually playing, and it took like almost like 2-3 games before I kind of locked back in to playing, until I think one of the last game also same thing when I was playing
Oh
with
yeah,
you.
yeah. Because I
I
think
was
it was our
gone
last
again.
game for sure. Yeah, we were, because
I
that
was
was where
gone again because I was like, oh damn it.
that's
I'm
where we
within
were
an
worrying
hour.
about. Yeah, we were
I'm
worrying
within
about
an
time at
hour.
that point.
I was
Yeah,
within an hour of losing all the courts. I was like, oh, like again, my mind checked out.
yeah. But yeah, so like other than that, like I thought we played really well. We didn't really get. I think there was only one game where same thing, like we had said, we were kind of checked out, so we got a little bit owned in the one game.
Yeah.
But all of our games were close, and honestly, there was quite a few where we probably should have won, but we lost. It
hmm
was like always.
No,
It was like
like
a 21.
obviously
There
I
was like a
don't.
21-19. There was like a 22-20 in games like that. So
Yeah, I obviously I didn't want to discredit like our opponent. They play really well, but at the same time, I would say my mind was checked out also at the same
yeah,
time. Like and they did well to just continue to apply pressure onto me or to you, recognizing we're not handling the situation right.
yeah, exactly, right. So it is what it is. But that at that level, if you're not 100% locked in, that's what's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
and we'll get into this discussion later with DUPR scores. Like, yeah, on DUPR, our
Mm.
team I think was what the second highest ranked.
Yeah.
But all those teams are so close, anyways, that honestly, that doesn't make a difference if you don't bring your A game.
Yeah,
Anybody can beat
didn't
anybody
matter.
at that point. So
I will say I should have maybe realized it quicker to switch with Chris going me to the right and him to the left, like just much faster than actually waited. Actually, our third game to do that because once Chris was on the left and me on the right, like Chris was like used to take a lot of court himself, and like we're both pretty aggressive left side player, but like especially because I am a little checked out, having him to the left like takes off a little bit pressure from me having to take that much of a court, and he's already used to it. So like, why didn't let him go to the left, right? And like even he was on the right, it's not easy to try to take more court when you're on the right, unless you're Mark Clemenson.
yeah,
Right, so that didn't help his course. And as soon as like the two last match I played with him, I was playing on the right. It was perfect. I was just sitting. I was just sitting there. You attack me, you're not gonna get through it. I'm just sitting there. I'll be able to outdig you. I got to counter while I'm just let Chris cook on the left, right? So I think that tactical change should have been quicker. Not shouldn't should be done right off the first game, kind of thing. Like at the change end at 11, like we're losing, change. Let's change it up right away.
yeah.
Don't even hesitate. Like don't wait for taking a timeout. Or okay, at 11 it didn't work. Change right away.
Yeah, and then that also comes into the fact that if you and me weren't playing, it's not like we were there helping coach and cheer. We a lot of times we were running over and doing stuff, trying
Yeah,
to
and
make sure.
that wasn't helpful neither, because usually
Yeah,
when you're a team, the third guy can do some coaching and stuff like that. But since we're running, like people's gonna come to you, ask you question, or you have to go
yeah,
there to do this and do that. So you lose that third person to kind of do that coaching, unfortunately.
Yeah, because they might see something that the players on the court aren't seeing, right? So yeah, so like even though like we just missed out on the crossovers, basically it was the one game we lost that cost us getting in. But like honestly, aside from that, like given the circumstances, I thought we still played really well. Like I said, we didn't really get blown out. Aside from that, we had one game where it was like I think 21-12.
Yeah, well, two games.
And
I think there's two games that's like that, but that's it. There's just two games basically.
Yeah, but and then everything else was like 21-19, 22-20. Same thing with ones we won and stuff like that. So like basically fell right into what it should be for that division is like if one team is off, the other team has enough skill to take advantage, and that literally was like every team there. So
exactly. So anyway, lessons learned probably if you play, don't try to organize at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and the original plan, of course, was we would have pretty much everything wrapped up by the time the 15 start. But then, of course, like we said, with losing that court, that really screwed the process up. Because if we would have had that court the entire time, I think like our division would have started, and 13 would have probably already been just about to start semis.
Yeah, around at least around that. Well, no, I don't think so. Not yet. Because when 13 started, well, actually, when our 15 started, because now we kind of do that kind of staggering because we only have that 5 courts. We did a little bit of 15, a little bit of 13, and kind of mix it up. So, like the 13 semifinals was actually when we're around like second or third round in the 15.
Yeah.
So
no, but that's why I mean if that other court was open, we could have started the 13 a lot earlier. Yeah. And then we wouldn't have and then we probably wouldn't have started our 15 right away. We probably would have let the other two divisions kind of play out a little bit more.
Or the other thing is probably we don't even need to care about the 13 because we know it's going to finish on time anyway, and the 15 just going to be running on itself, that instead of having us to juggle around the court in order to try to fit the the 13 finishing first and then the 15 counting anyways, and that was really annoying part, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I'm not really disappointed too much with the way I personally played or the way we played as a team. I thought we played pretty good. Like I said, and like the game that really cost us getting to the crossovers, if you look at all the scores of that game, it was
against Mark, Victor, and
they were all super close games. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It was that one because if we won that one, I think we're definitely into the semi. But at the same time,
we would have been 3. We would have been 3-1.
Yeah, at the same time, if we were in the semi, that will be problematic too. Because then who's gonna be reffing that match? Who's gonna be doing that?
Yeah, but we also made the decision once we knew we were out to let Jesse and Jesse and them go home.
I know.
So it wasn't really an issue. It was like once we knew we were out, we were like, okay, you guys can go because Vic and Mary will do the rest because there's only going to be 2 courts being used.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So it wasn't really an issue. That was more of an issue of circumstance because once we knew we were out, we were like, okay, well, there's no need to have these 2 guys hang around when Vic can go back and ref.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, thank the ref Roger Carey and Jesse Parks came over to help us out. So yeah, we have the best referee in Edmonton helping up in their game.
Yep, absolutely. So but big thanks to
obviously my mom Mary Mary and myself. I'm refereeing.
Yeah,
you see that I'm organizing, playing, and refereeing. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's why I got shingles.
Yeah, and I made this joke to Vic before, and because like I said I didn't get as stressed because with the owning restaurants and stuff, I was used to a little bit of the more hectic stuff. So I was still distracted, but I didn't get as distracted as Vic, aside from when we ran into the court hour issue. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, still had a lot of fun with it, like mentally and physically exhausted by the end of the day for sure.
Yeah, big time.
But
I would say for the as a organizing the event after action report, I was thinking about a couple. Like I did text you a couple of things. I think the DUPR 9, isn't it? Is it a DUPR 9?
We had 7 teams and we decided to do a 17 round robin. We should
We
have done a
should.
2 pool and
Yeah,
just had quarters and quarters, semis, and finals. It would have just cut
yeah.
down a couple games. Everyone still would have gotten a
Well,
fair shake of
we'll
games,
have
but
we'll have the same amount of rounds, but we'll actually use less court because as soon as you hit semis, you're now down to 2 courts, right? So instead of what happened is you're doing that round robin of 7. That's at least 8 rounds or 7 rounds, something like that.
seven rounds,
rounds,
and you're using 3 courts.
Exactly, right. So you're stuck with all those. Then the next DUPR was what like DUPR 11 was playing at the same time anyway, but the DUPR 13 couldn't start because the DUPR 9 was using all those court, right?
Exactly.
If you're going to semis, we know they're just only using 2 court, then DUPR 13 can start using those at 2 additional court, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So lesson learned with that. We were trying to give everyone lots of games. Because normally with MiLP it's a guaranteed 3 matchups, so you get guaranteed basically 6 games per player. So even though we ran long, everyone definitely got at least that. So I'm happy with that. We don't seem like because I always hate going to tournaments where it's like, oh, you get guaranteed this, but then it's like 2 and out. They say games, but they
3
mean like
games.
they mean 2 sets and then 1 game to 15. And I'm like, I was like, at least this one it was a guaranteed 6, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So and plus, we provided food and a bunch of other snacks on top of that. So I don't feel like we were ripping anyone off in that.
No,
in that sense,
there's no tournaments gonna give like right now. I'm sorry, and I gonna say that no tournaments giving you dinner or even lunch. We provided players lunch. We provided player dinner when we know we're running over. I'm sorry. There's 0 tournament right now, 0, including the national. Not even giving you lunch or anything. They give you like a half cut banana. That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. As someone who was at nationals last year, I can attest to that.
Exactly.
So,
I'm sorry if you're saying that, if you're still thinking our tournaments is expensive and everything. Well, that you shouldn't even consider go playing other tournament because you got 0 out of the other tournaments.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. Like I said, I thought like the hiccups we ran into being said, I still think it was very successful. Like I said, the players looked like they had a lot of fun, a lot of really good games in there. But yeah, so hopefully we can get some turnouts for the next couple. If not, it is what it is. But
it's what it is. And I think one last thing maybe is it's tough, and that's a tough after action report is having always additional court in the facility, but which is not always easy. Like this time, having water damage on a court is definitely unexpected. And even though we technically have 7 court, but there's 1 court is super tight that we actually use it as our front desk and everything, because basically you can't really use that court to play. Unfortunately, that's the number 7 court.
It's fine for like going in like socializing rec play, but not for high level competitive.
No, like I'll say if I put any DUPR 15 in there, for sure there'll be a complaint. Like even DUPR 13 is going to probably complain. And then that court number 1, there's just like, yes, we have everyone's signed waiver, but I won't have my conscience. I won't have conscience clear.
Yeah, exactly.
Break an ACL or break whatever.
Yeah, there's the waiver sign, but then there's also the good practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or good business practice where I'm like, I can't in good like you said, in good conscience.
Oh, good
let
faith.
people let people go play on that. So yeah, so it is what it is.
Like rec is fine. Like rec, you're just not going to run there.
But this way, for me, I wouldn't even be able to play on that court and rec because I really don't change how I play in rec, so I'm still running all over the place. Guaranteed, I would have caught that ice and either gone headfirst into the wall and needed stitches or pulled something.
Yeah, and
So
so
Vic has seen me play enough to know that I run into fences. I dive on like actual pickleball courts and rip up my knees. Like I can't turn that part of my brain off. So it's I like put it this way, if I had rented that court and come in like just for rec play and I'd seen that, I would have asked if I can change courts or want my money back, because there's no way I would be like I said I can't turn my brain off.
yeah,
Like
there's no
I can't turn that part of my brain off, so there's no way I'd be willing to let myself play on that court. So, and if I'm not willing to play on it, I'm not going to make other people play on it.
Yeah, exactly. And and unfortunately, this is something out of control. And unfortunately, sometimes we need to maybe look at other facility that have maybe a better lineup or a better better control facility. And already we're into indoor facility that we should have taking all the element of surprise out of it, but you still have some,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
you still run into issues regardless. Exactly.
Mhm.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode. We want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Kitchen Blockers. Me and Irene are sponsored by these guys, and if you're watching the video right now, I'm rocking their new red pair. These are safety glasses for pickleball players, made by pickleball players. They're lens-free, which means zero light refraction, zero frog, scratch-free, sweat-free, and gives you full court vision. If you guys head over to kitchenblockers.com and enter the code AGORMAN10, you can get 10% off your order. Thanks again for Kitchen Blockers for supporting us and this podcast. Back to the episode.
Yeah, so we'll move on from there. We're not going to do we'll save our big discussion for the NVIC. We're actually going to do Pickleball Canada first. So they just announced they got two new deals. They've signed with K-Swiss and Club Med for official partners. K-Swiss, of course, a big shoe brand. They're really known in the tennis area, aren't they, Vic?
Yeah, they're a big name in tennis. K-Swiss is basically it is technically a shoe company, and they're specialized in tennis for a while. Yes, you do see some K-Swiss as more like a kind of like Adidas trend, yeah, kind of like Adidas original kind of trend of shoes sometimes, but I think for the last maybe 5 years, they are now very known into the tennis world because they have been pretty comfortable, and they're also they're having a pretty good track record in durability. So that's why they got pretty known in the tennis world. It's good. I think it's a good collab, but at the same time, I just hope K-Swiss will start putting like pickleball specific shoes, because otherwise mostly they're just gonna do tennis shoes.
Yeah. And like tennis shoes are nice and all, but obviously tennis is played on multiple different surfaces, where pickleball is played on the one type generally, right? So you prefer a shoe
different.
you prefer a shoe that's made for the actual surface that you're playing on.
Yeah, that's one, and I have a feeling most of the tennis shoes. That's just my experience. I'm not like everyone like wears their shoes differently. Like we know pickleball, there's a lot of stop and go, so the shoes wears a lot in the front sole, mostly. Tennis, because that's a newer version of tennis that's just more like the sliding instead of like the moving forward and backward. So most of the tennis shoes actually bulk up the side of the shoes rather than actually the front of the shoes. So one of I was actually using some of my tennis shoes at first by playing pickleball, like my tennis shoe roll down like actually much quicker, because they don't have as much rubber on the front. They put it right on the side. So that could actually affect most of the shoe durability, and that's the reason why I think Skechers got like popular so quickly, because they, first of all, yes, they make pickleball specific shoes, but they also understand, oh, I need to reinforce, and they did put the Goodyear rubber right on the front of the front part of the shoe in order to reinforce that area. And also they, instead of putting more rubber on the back, they actually put more arch support on the back because they know when a lot of the time we're gonna get planted, and that's the area we're gonna have impact the most. Versus in tennis, it's a different side. They actually put more rubber on the back because there's a lot more sliding and stopping on the specific spot rather than actually in pickleball that you're moving back and forth, and once you're on the dinking, and that's the only sliding you're doing, and that's not as much as tennis, which you're sliding in a much bigger court. Versus when you're in pickleball, especially you're playing doubles, you're playing in that rectangle area.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's the same thing like if you look at basketball shoes in comparison to like volleyball shoes. Basketball shoes are very similar to tennis shoes where there's a lot built up on the side because of the side to side stop and starts, shuffle steps and stuff like that. And then same thing, they're built around the balls of the feet as well because you're usually always on your toes on defense, all the jumping, whereas volleyball tends to be mostly just on the balls of your feet because of how much jumping and stuff you do, right? So it's different sport, you need different kind of custom builds for the shoe, right? So yeah, hopefully K-Swiss rolls out a pickleball shoe. But still, that's a really good get for Pickleball Canada. You're getting a big name brand coming in that already has experience with racket sports, so hopefully they can make an adjustment accordingly. The other big one, of course, is Club Med. So big tourist getaway in primarily in Mexico, but they're also in a few other spots. But they're also we announced them a little while ago because they're a premier sponsor of the CNPL.
CNPL, yeah.
Right. So
Club
who knows?
Club is more. I will say is more well known into the eastern Canada region, especially in the Quebec area. Is actually very popular in the Quebec area because people go down south a lot, and they're using a lot of Club Med as their primary agency for those destinations. So for people who doesn't know Club Med, they have been well known for years, but obviously, unfortunately. Alberta, we don't use them as much, but in Quebec, they're a big entity.
Yeah, exactly. And majority of their facilities, their resorts down south have pickleball courts on them, and they've been expanding them because they've seen the popularity of pickleball growing. Like if you look at from videos from when they signed with the CNPL, Toronto United went down with almost their whole team and were practicing on the courts at the Club Med resort, right? So
they did.
So this is another really good get. I'm interested to see what, aside from just the name brand, if that they paid for to have it up at events, if they're, who knows, like, because I know for like for example at the one CNPL event when they became the primary sponsor, fans who attended got entered into a draw to win a vacation down there. Right.
Yes.
So I'm wondering maybe who knows for nationals, maybe who knows first place or something, aside from getting medals and becoming national champion, maybe you win like a 5-day getaway. Or maybe entered into a draw. Like maybe all players get entered into a draw or something like that, right? So
I hope both of them do better because unfortunately the past couple of national and the past couple of sponsor of the national, I don't know, those sponsor was quite I don't want to use the word cheap, but I want to almost say they're non-existent almost.
Yeah, like you're hoping like if you're going to be a primary sponsor of something, you want to be like you're providing something especially at nationals, you're providing some that's going to be something where you're paying a lot of money to be a sponsor, but that's going to be the one event where you're giving out like the most either product or most type of discount codes or whatever.
Yeah.
So like for example, like Franklin, sponsor the the ball of Pickleball Canada, everyone got a Franklin ball in their goodie bag. Right. And if you think about it, like 700 something athletes, you're giving away like a box and a half of balls for free, right? Aside from also providing balls for the tournament itself, that's something we look at. Neo Brothers was giving out chips to all the winners, but then they also had like a little boutique spot where you could go taste test their stuff, you could taste test their coffee, and then they were also selling it there for like 50% off type stuff and things like that. Like so, like those type of things where the sponsor is present at the event, not just in a name brand on the like or a banner on one of the courts type of thing. So hopefully K-Swiss and Club Med, Pickleball Canada worked out something with them where they're providing something big or providing
Yeah.
something like, worthwhile of being listed as a premier sponsor, right? But yeah, like we said, we've needed Pickleball Canada and other the provinces and stuff to get some bigger names or more big names in, because the more sponsor money you have coming in, the more then you can designate to, like, help whoever's hosting nationals run nationals, not just be able to not just put your name on something, but maybe provide some monetary support or spread it out evenly amongst the provinces for each provincials, provide a little bit more monetary support that way, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
hopefully by getting these two bigger name companies, like, yeah, Club Med's more known in Eastern Canada, but it's still a very, very big resort company. Hopefully by getting them, they're building the brand a little bit more, so then that way we can get more sponsorship dollars in, and just make tournament going more accessible, and also better rewards for players who come and attend it, right? So
Yeah, I'm hoping like probably some other bigger company like I'm just hypothetically saying, or like Tim Hortons, or like a bank, RBC, a BMO, or TD, CIBC, something like that. Like Pickleball Canada almost needs something like big in Canada, that in order to like have the other people that know pickleball know, oh, pickleball is actually booming in Canada. Because the biggest problem right now is that most of the sponsors, like aside by K-Swiss and Club Med at this point, or Neo Brothers and all those ones, those are very, we call, niche sponsors. Like if
they're niche, and they're almost already in the pickleball
exactly.
vicinity, right? Like even Neil Brothers, even though Neil Brothers is a fairly big company, in comparison to, if you were to say, and this isn't a shot at Neil Brothers, if you compare them to Lay's, if I
Yeah,
say
exactly.
Lay's, more people are
Lay's,
going to know what I'm talking
Pringles, or
about.
whatever.
Yeah, if I say Lay's, more people are going to know what I'm talking about. And then if I say Neil Brothers, they're going to be like, "What's that?" Right? Like, we know what Neil
Exactly.
Brothers are because they've already been ingrained in the pickleball culture. But if you're trying to also draw more people to watch pickleball, if you say, "Oh, Pickleball Nationals," if we say, like, for example, RBC, sponsored by RBC, right? Well, people know, oh, that's like one of the biggest banks in Canada, and they're sponsoring this event. Okay, what is this thing? Like, it brings more eyes, and not, or like even other companies. Oh, RBC jumped in on this. Oh, maybe we can jump in on it too.
Yeah,
Type of thing
exactly.
like that.
Like
Like,
you need
it,
you
it
need
creates
that you
it
need
creates parity amongst bigger companies, right?
yeah,
So
you need that. And also, you need the exposure, right?
yeah,
Those companies freaking everywhere in Canada, right? You do like just example, if you got Tim Hortons, I'm sorry, every freaking corner of of the block in Toronto has a Tim Hortons. Like, let's say you stick your logo on those Tim Hortons. Hey, you have how many Tim Hortons now running ads for you, like commercial, easy commercial for you, right?
yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, so it's a good step forward. We obviously want to see more as we go. But yeah, it's a really good get by Pickleball Canada, and hopefully they can translate that into getting more, even bigger name sponsors, and also start providing a little bit more support for the sanctioned tournaments
Hmm.
across the country and all the provinces, right? So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hey everybody, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Tyrol Pickleball. I'm holding their Velocity V shoe right here. It's the orange and teal one. It's awesome, and I love using this on the court. So for a pickleball shoe that delivers stability, breathability, comfort, and durability, head over to TyrolPickleball.com and enter AGorman20 at checkout to get 20% off your order. We want to give Tyrol a big shout out. Thank you so much for supporting us. Better grip, better balance, better game, designed for the way pickleball is actually played. Back to the episode. So now on to the big topic of this podcast, Vic. So I'm going to ask the question, but I'm going to kind of ramble here for a little bit, Vic, and then I'll let you kind of jump in and counterpoint me if you want, or agree with me, either or.
Yeah.
So the question I'm kind of asking is, how do we battle the growing issue of gatekeeping due to DUPR ratings in pickleball? Now I use gatekeeping broadly because it's not just gatekeeping, it's also other people doing stuff. The big thing I'm going to take out of this is, or I'm going to remove from this kind of thing is we've already discussed how tournaments and facilities need to be better with running tournaments and stuff like that and using this.
Yeah.
This is more so on player mentality for me.
Mhm.
So one of the big issues with people using DUPR as like a status thing is so you have high level players don't want to go to a tournament where, say, there's a couple. I don't even want to call them lower level players, but say it's a 4 or 5 division and you have a couple 4.2s
Mm-hmm.
entered in the 4 or 5 division, which are allowed because most tournaments allow you to move up at least half a rating,
Yeah.
right? But high level players are refusing to go in those now because they'll pre-look at the tournaments like, oh, there's a 4.2 player in there. I don't want to do that because even if I beat them, if I don't beat them by a lot, my rating is going to go down, and I want to keep my high rating status.
Yeah.
The other side of that is you have players who are really low, who probably shouldn't be moving up yet,
Yes.
chasing the status. Like, oh, I'll go play, but even if I get blown out, I'm still going to go up.
I'm still fine.
Whereas
Yeah.
realistically, they should play in the division they're in a couple more times, learn how to win, and
Mhm.
get better, and then move up. Like if I want to use me and Irene for an example, we started at 3-0, right? We
Yeah.
won
You
we
move,
won
you
our
move
we
up
won
you move up incrementally.
yeah, we
Almost.
moved up incrementally. Once we started consistently winning 3-0, okay, let's move to 3-5. Once we started consistently winning 3-5, let's move up to 4-0. Once we started winning consistently at 4-0, we moved up to 4.5 and up, right? Which is the way realistically you should be doing it.
Yeah.
However, there's lots of people who are impatient and are looking to, like we said, that status of being like 4-5 or being like 4-8 or whatever, right? They're basically trying to skip the process of gaining the skills, gaining the mentality, and just want to jump right to, oh, now I have a 4.5 status, I'm good, type of thing, right? So that's the other side of it. So both of these sides are creating this toxic environment of, I'm just looking at DUPR status. I'm a 4.6 in DUPR. So I only want to play with other 4.6s. And I'm like, okay, are you really a 4.6? And
Yeah.
DUPR, and yeah, go ahead, Vic.
Yeah. It is a very difficult problem to solve because I'm just taking another sport for example, like one of my previous sport, tennis. Okay, when you're in tennis, yeah, they also give you a certain amount of rating, right? But when once you got that rating, there's not much people trying like people knows right away what kind of rating you are, and if you want to chase going higher, you're just gonna work your way up there. You either go play tournament, or you're gonna play in more leagues, or you're gonna practice more in order to move up to the next rating. But in pickleball, I just don't know what is happening, and I think I don't want to say DUPR is a problem, but it is indeed one of the problem is that they're changing their algorithm way too much, and makes people like either confused or how and either other people know, okay, that's how I'm gonna be able to game the system, so how I kind of move up, rather than actually having like tennis actually have like real assessor gonna assess, okay, this is your rating, you get, I got you demonstrate me, you're able to do that kind of shot, that number of shot, okay, then there you go, you got your rating. Versus now it's like uh basically there is way to game this system, like in Canada, there is, but it's a little less than when you're down the states. Downstates, if I want to get 5-0, is actually, I'm not saying it's easy, but there's ways. I'm just gonna go play a PPA qualifiers every time,
Yeah.
and I just need to win 1 point against that guy that is 5-5 or 6-0, whatever. And that's enough for me to bump my score. And on top of that, I just gonna make sure my reliability is down to like 10 or something like that. And my duper is gonna jump like not from maybe 4-5 to 5, but at least close to 5. because I won a point or 2 points out of that 6-0 guy, which is unfair against that 6-0 guys, because I don't think the 6-0 guys care about their DUPR, so they actually want to play to go to make it to the main draw. Like that's their main focus. But the people that, like, I'm not saying me, but I'm saying they want to game that system, they're gonna do that.
Yeah, and like DUPR has been trying to do steps like that. Reliability score was meant to be put in there to be like, okay, this person is actually 4.5 or this person is actually 4.7 type thing, right?
Yeah, but there's way to game it.
No, I know, but people have figured out ways to game it. But this is the problem, because everyone is looking at the rating as the status.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, the rating kind of helps you figure out where you should be playing, right? But it's not the end all to beat all. I'm gonna talk a little bit more, but I'm gonna give Vic a little test here to prove a point. To prove a point with this, but yeah, this is because what this is causing. This is causing high-level players to only play within their little group, and they'll do little ladders to keep everyone, So, like, for example, if me and Vic wanted to make our own little groups, say it was you, me, Irene, pick another semi-high level female, and we just played the four of us constantly. And every now and then we throw the games into DUPR just to keep our reliability score up and keep us all around like that 4.6, 4.7, 4.8 mark, right? Lots of people are doing that now. They won't go to tournaments. I'm going to play within my group because I want to maintain my status of a 4.7,
exactly.
Right? So that's a problem. And like we already said, the lower level players trying to game the system, trying to get their rating up way before they're ready to have that rating. Because I know lots of people right now who have a 4.5 or like a 4.2 rating where they still play like a 3.5. Because they've either teamed up with someone who's like a 5.0 and let the 5.0 carry them, which is another way to game the system, or
you paid the 5.0 to play.
Yeah, or they've gone into tournaments with the intention of, I'm going to try and steal 3 points here. If I lose 11-3 in straight sets, who cares? I'm still going to go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? So that's
bothers me a lot.
That bothers me as well, because I want you to try. I want you to try against me. I don't have a problem playing against a lower level player, but I want you to try to win.
Yeah,
your goal should be to win.
Exactly, but at the same time, the guy that won, let's say that 4.5 is playing that for 4.2 or something like that, right? Now, currently with the algorithm is that 4.5. Let's say they won 11-8, something like that. Okay, that 4.5 guy is gonna go down because you win 11-8.
But the thing, but 11-8 means, Vic, is that 4.2 should be rated higher.
Maybe.
No, if you think you should be blowing the person out, you should blow them out. If you can't if you're a 4.7 and you beat a 4.2 11-8, that 4.2 played insanely well. They deserve to move up, and you deserve to move down. I'm talking about playing a 4.7, playing like a 4.1, and blowing them out 11-1. That's and the 4.1 still getting to go up. It's different if you perform well, because the whole point of that how you perform algorithm is, like, for example, someone like me who lives up in Peace River, I don't get to go play in these ladder leagues that are in Edmonton, right? Because I can't come. So the only thing I get to go is to tournaments, and this is what happened with that CTPR rating. I was rated at a 3.6, and I was already playing in 4.5 divisions.
I know,
right? But I had to come down. And so, like, someone would play me, and all of a sudden I blow them off the court. They're a 4.3. I was a 3.7, but I blew them off the court. Well, it's because I didn't get enough games. I haven't been able to come to as many tournaments, but I got better, but I still was able to come up. So I'm not talking about the ones where a 4.2 loses 11-8 in straight sets. That's a good match. That's a good competitive match. They deserve to move their points up, because a lot of times it could be someone like me where they didn't get to go to a lot of tournaments over the summer, and they're thing remains the same, but they practiced really hard and moved up. That's the process. Because a 4.2 playing a 4.7 to me isn't gaming the system. That's moving up that half a point.
I'm not saying it's gaming the system. The problem is that 4.5, that 4.7 now having to play that 4.2, knowing the fact they have to blow them up. And unfortunately, sometimes when you play in a game, sometimes just the amount you're gonna go down isn't that much. And my argument to that is, suck it up. Well, a lot of people are not, and that's the and
Well, that's the problem. They have a loser.
problematic.
That's the problem. They have a loser mentality.
And unfortunately, that's why it's happening.
But in the end, all that should matter is if you won. This is the problem. This is why I'm saying this status thing is bullshit. Using your rating as a status symbol is bullshit. Did you win? Yeah. So who cares if your DUPR dropped down a little bit? Did you win the tournament? If you won gold, who gives a shit if your DUPR went down a little bit? Put it this way, Irene and Guy played in our MiLP back in September. Irene's rating went down even though they won gold. Because Guy was a 5.0 and Irene was like 4.7. So even when like me and Yan played against them and we lost 21, I think 18 or whatever it was, me and Yan went up. They went down a little bit. But the ratings are close enough that the amount they went down is like 0.002 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I know, but
I went to Irene. So I went to Irene. I was like, so who cares? You won. You got gold. This thing behind me here, that's what matters, not the rating.
Yeah, not anymore, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I mean. That's the toxic mentality that's happening.
Well, yes and no. I'll let you know another problematic is because a lot of the time is the club is the other facility that is restricting some player not cannot play at a certain level, and that's a big problematic also in not just one club but multiple facility. I'm not saying it is their fault, but the problem is because of these rating people always want to chase going higher, right? But now knowing the fact, let's say someone is closer to that 4.05. Okay, I'm just saying I'm 4.05. If I'm gonna play a tournament, I have a chance I'm gonna lose that rating because I'm playing in a 4-0 tournament that has a bunch of 3-5, 3-7 players gonna play. If I'm not making enough point against them, and my rating goes down below that 4, I'm not now allowed to play on the 4-0 division in my whatever club or whatever area. So why am I sacrificing trying to play a tournament? Now knowing the fact, even though I might perform well, I wouldn't go, but that my rating still went down, and I'm not able to play in my current category that I want to. Right. This is what I mean. This is what I mean by that toxic of this status. Because if you have a player in your club, and this is mismanagement on the club's part, if you have a player in your club that is constantly going to tournaments and winning, because you should know this. If this is a member of your club, you should know this. Like we post, like for our club, and I know we're a smaller club here in Peace Server. Mm-hmm. Anytime a member of our club goes and plays in the tournament and does well, like wins a medal or something, we post it on our club page. Yeah, saying, hey, congrats, this person won. So if you go to enough tournaments and you're winning, like say, like you said, like 4.02, and they go and win. So I'm assuming they're playing in the 4.0 division. If they win constantly at the 4.0 division, but there's some 3.7s and stuff going in there, and their rating's not going up. That's where you look at that. It's okay. Yes, I understand they may have dipped to a 3.9, or like it's 3.97 or whatever. Let's say. They literally just went and won like 3 4.0 tournaments in a row. For me, that's where you have to look at that. Like I said, the DUPR rating should only be a rough estimate of where this person should be. Yeah. But that's what I mean. People are taking this thing too seriously. So I'm going to use this right now as an opportunity, Vic. I'm going to give you 4 different players' DUPR rating. I'm not going to tell you their names. Okay. Yep. You tell me who you think the best player is, okay? Got it. Go ahead.
So we have a 5.746.
Okay.
A 5.877.
Okay.
A 6.025. And a 5.882.
Okay.
Who's the best player there?
They're usually pretty close. Like basically, technically the 6.0 by DUPR, 6.0 is the highest one.
But that's what I mean. Just taking the DUPR status... Not looking at that, you're assuming the 6.0 is the 6.025 is the best player there. What if I were to tell you that the lowest rated person there is a 2-time national champion and a back-to-back CMPL champion?
So it's Ernesto, obviously.
Ernesto is so that was Mark Clemenson, Luis Charles, Ryan Torrenson, and Ernesto.
Yeah.
In your honest opinion, Vic, who's the best player there?
So obviously, because I put so it's probably Ryan, right? Is it?
Yeah, Ryan Torrenson's the 6-0, but who is the person who is back-to-back nationals champion and back-to-back CMPL champion?
Yes.
And literally, when you say that name, everyone says that's probably the best player in Canada right now.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Ernesto, right? So Ernesto is the lowest rating out of those 4 gentlemen.
And
this is
that's a different. But that's a different story. Like when you hit
I got more, Vic. I got more, Vic. I got more. Okay, so I got 4 more scores for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So 4.657.
Okay.
4.897. 4.727. 4.943. 4.297. This is women. This is women. And all these women just played in a Moneyball tournament a couple weeks ago in Edmonton.
Obviously, I know. I like if you just say that. I know. Who
I
ratings,
know,
right?
But this is what I mean.
Who are on the weightings too, right?
But this is what I mean. So if you look at that rating, if you just go by DUPR, that 4.2 should have nothing to do with this 4.7, 4.8 players.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. So that 4.27 is Caitlin.
I know.
It's Caitlin Maher from Whitecourt, right?
That one Moneyball with Barry, which is
and they spanked everybody. They spanked everyone. Like the games were to 15. Nobody scored over 10 points on them. And you want to say, Irene carried her? Irene is the second lowest rating at 4.657 out of those 5 women.
I know.
So out of those women that I just listed, the 2 lowest ratings just spanked everybody else.
I know.
This is what I mean. DUPR rating is good for a rough adjustment of where you are. Mm-hmm. It is not the end all, the beat all. The end all, the beat all is winning the tournament. You play to win the game. I don't know how much that quote has been used over the years, but you play to win the game. If sports were decided on just what's on paper, you would never play a game in your life.
But I'm telling you, the biggest problem right now is the club using DUPR as the main source of rating their
you have to do you can use DUPR, but you have to do a plus or minus thing.
No, they don't. That's
but that's what I mean. It's creating. That's what I said. This is creating this toxic environment where if your rating is not exactly this, we want nothing to do with you in this division.
Exactly, and that's the problem. I think that's the problem. Okay, first of all, club is a problem. They didn't recognize that DUPR. Like there's so much variable in DUPR that even though that guy is or that person is 4 or whatever, he probably had no business in that division whatsoever, or vice versa. Someone that's probably 3-7, but because he's been moving so rapidly, he should be maybe playing at a much higher division than what he's currently in playing at the 3-5 level.
Yeah,
but the problem is, a lot of the club just win away saying, "Oh, DUPR is my blanket of my blanket of safety,"
and I understand why, because it's easier, because then it's like, hey, we don't have to go and assess. We're just going to let the DUPR thing decide it. Well, the things you run into the problem with there is, unless you're doing ladder leagues in your club all the time and everyone is able to go to them, so like you do like say a 3.5 to 3.99, or you do like a 3.7 to say 4.4, something like that, you know what I mean? Unless you're doing ladder leagues like that where everyone goes and plays, or you do it during club time, right? So then the people who are advancing quickly can do it that way. But if you're not providing your club players in your club the opportunity to show that they've advanced, then you run into this problem. Also, you have to, like I said, unless you're going to start reusing because like our club even uses the reliability meter with ours, because ours divides it by DUPR as well. Mm-hmm. However, we have like a 4.0 to 4.5 group. We have like a 3.0 to 3.5 kind of group. Mm-hmm. And we say you got to build up. Now, obviously, and because we have so few players, you kind of have to mix some of the groups anyways. But we say, okay, if you want, like if you're dropping below, if your reliability score drops below, you need to get more games in or else we adjust it accordingly type of thing, right? But like I said, our club does adjustments and stuff like that due to the fact that we don't have ladder leagues here at our club. And there's such a gap between players in our club. Like we have a lot of, and we have some players who don't care. They just want to play rec. So we have like our rec group. We have like our 3.0 competitive group. We have our 3.5 competitive group. We have our 4.0 competitive group and 4.5 competitive group. Now 4.0 and 4.5 play together all the time because there's literally only 3 players in the 4.5. Right?
Yeah, I know.
But the gap is so great with our club is we had to make adjustments accordingly so that you play with each, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have the ability to do ladder leagues because, like I said, for me, there's no point in me playing a ladder league in our club because there's literally only three people that consistently can beat me on a regular basis, right? So it's like, and it's funny because someone from our club also suggested, oh, we should do a night where we do mixed and we do it competitive style, like King and Queens of the Court. I'm like, so you just want me and Irene to come in and destroy everybody? Because I said, if I'm playing competitive mode, I'm just going to whoop everyone. So like our club doesn't have the ability to do that because we're such a small club. We only have 75 members or something like that.
Yeah.
All these clubs in the bigger cities and the bigger areas where you're upwards in like the hundreds plus, you have the ability to schedule, say, okay, guys, every Wednesday, say if you have club, like say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every Wednesday, guys, we're combining the groups and doing a ladder league from this point to this point to see who's improved or to see who's advanced type thing. If you don't want to take part, fine. You don't have to take part, but then guess what? You're staying in your little group. You're not going to have the ability to move up unless you go and play in tournaments and move up that way. Right? So, but it gives people the opportunity. The problem is clubs are just going, no, DUPR, your DUPR is your DUPR. If you were 4.000 and all of a sudden you went and played a tournament, even though you won a tournament and it was a 4.0 and you dropped down to 3.999, you can't play in the 4.0 anymore. That doesn't make sense. That's dumb. Right? But like I said, this is the problem with having the DUPR as the end all to beat all. I literally just gave you, or gave everyone listening, multiple player examples as why who is actually the best versus what the DUPR rating says.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but
In the end, it's a sport and it comes down to winning. So Vic, and you don't have to say I have who I think is the best female player in Alberta. So if we take away the pros from Alberta, in your opinion, who is give your top 3 females in Alberta? Not count so we're not putting Kim Layton in. We'll take out Ava Weeks because she plays pro as well. We'll take out Allie K as well because she plays pro games. If you're just going amateur players who have not played a pro game in their life, who would be your top 3? And I know we don't know as many of the people in Calgary because obviously we're northern. So actually here, that's a better stuff. From Red Deer to Edmonton, who's your top 3?
Well, for sure. Well, do I count Erin as Edmonton?
Sorry, Red Deer North. Red Deer North. So if you want to count Erin, you can count Erin.
Oh, technically Erin's here, right? For sure. Erin's on the top. I'll add probably Cassie Posma, maybe a second close, and then third is tough because all the others are pretty close together. I can tell you right now, no matter who you pick out of those out of that third place, you put Irene at first. Irene has the lowest DUPR out of whoever you mention. Yeah, so. But that's what I mean. And then same thing. So people who are watching online, you've probably noticed from my backdrop, there's all these medals here. So half of these medals are mine, half of these medals are Irene's. The bigger side is Irene's. Okay, yeah, I know, for sure.
Now the stuff in the middle here is what we've won together as a mixed pair. The stuff further over is what she's won either in women's or in singles. Okay. To me, the ultimate decider of who the best person is or best player is, at an event is who wins it. I don't care what the DUPR rating is. I don't care who is supposed to be the top player there. This is like the Olympics. So right now, obviously Canada is the favorite in men's hockey, right? However, if Canada does not win, say the US or Sweden or Finland, someone wins, I'm sorry, they are now the best team in the world. Until further, it's not in theory. They won the biggest on the biggest stage of them all in the tournament that meant the most. So whoever wins at nationals, that's the best player in the country. You can say, so and so didn't. You can say so and so didn't come. Tough Rocks, they didn't come. That was their choice. They decided not to. They decided not to put them in themselves in the running. Ernesto has gone to nationals 2 years in a row and has swept the men's division and has swept the mixed division. Right?
Yeah,
he is the best. He is the best player in Canada currently. He's also back-to-back champion in the CNPL. He's the best male player in Canada.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care what the rate. I don't care what DUPR says. I don't care what like you want to throw. Oh, well, so and so has gone down and won tournaments here. I don't care. The end all the beat all tournament in Canada. There's two. There's the nationals and there's the CNPL. He is literally the champion of both 2 years in a row.
I know.
That's the best.
Let's say, I give you another example. Let's say there is a new league coming in. Okay, I'm just saying like that. I have another league that's coming in. Not saying I'm not. I'll just take apart CNPL. Okay, there's a brand new league coming in. Okay, I have someone that's 6'3" versus. I'm not taking a shot at Ernesto. I'm just taking an example. I have Ernesto, and I have Ernesto at 5.7. Isn't it right? He's like 5.7.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have someone at 6.3. Guess who's gonna get picked first?
What have the 6.3 and the 6 point whatever done aside from being that rating? Have they won nationals?
Like let's say both of them have 100% reliability.
No, I don't care about 100% reliability. I'm talking about what have they won.
Let's say that 6.3 guy have played multiple times in PPA, APP. He make main draws in APP and PPA. He never won a tournament.
He won a tournament in PPA.
He never won a tournament. Let's say.
Ernesto's gone down and Ernesto's gone down and made main draws.
Yeah, I know.
This is what I mean. But this is what if he has not competed.
But the person that's gonna see it is gonna be, oh, this guy's 6.3. I'm gonna pick him first.
Then that person's not doing their research in thing. This is why you and me do this for the CNPL. I know. We have knocked it out of the park 2 years in a row with who we pick to win.
Yeah, but that's a different story.
That's not my problem if people are not willing to do the educational work.
I know, but because the problem is we are not the owner, right? As an owner, I want to pick the guy that has the highest rating and that I can start marketing. He has the highest rating.
Then you're a shitty owner. But you're bad at your job. Then you're bad at your job. No, but what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about with DUPR ratings, though. DUPR rating can be like, oh, this guy is 6.0. Okay, now let's do especially if you're talking pro leagues. Okay, if we're talking pro leagues, yes, that puts him at one of the top of who I'm going to scout. But what has this guy gone and won? Or how has he competed? Or go look at the tape. How does this guy present himself on the court? Is he the one actually carrying the team, or is he a passenger on the team? Whereas, like I said, if he does he have a winning pedigree? This is where now, and we're getting really inside baseball type here with pickleball now because you and me pay attention to this stuff because we watch and we analyze the CNPL, right? But this is the problem. Like, if you just look on DUPR, because same thing, it doesn't give you like pickleball brackets actually, or pickleball tournaments.com actually does a better job now of if you want to do a deep dive on someone, it'll actually show you how many events they've won, how many medals they've won, whether it's been like DUPR doesn't. I
have a better example.
Okay.
Who are you gonna pick between? Again, I'm not taking a shot at you, Ernesto, because I'm just using you.
No, we're using this because of the DUPR status. Yeah, that's fine.
And because he's the best. Okay. I have James Inatovich and Ernesto. Who you gonna put?
But James has won on the PPA tour.
Yeah, but he hasn't did shit for a year.
No,
sorry, I'm not taking it. Sorry, James. I'm just using you as a metaphor. I'm not taking shit at you.
No, but what I mean, Vic, is he has the winning pedigree, and he's also been finishing in the top.
But not for the whole year. He hasn't even passed quarterfinals. He hasn't even played.
Yeah, but that's still quarterfinals.
Yeah, but
at PPA.
Year. But it has been a freaking year. Has it been
No, but what I
haven't played though.
but
Like,
see,
how-
no, but
how- how are you gonna
you're
play-
using two different things here, Vic. Like what I use the Ernesto thing as an example because I want to give the pro example, and I want to give the amateur example with the women, because this is ultimately on the amateur side is where this issue is.
Yes,
Okay?
I know, but that's
because pros
why
don't give a shit as much about their rating.
For sure.
They care whether or
pro
not they
doesn't
win the
give a shit.
tournament.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Doesn't give a shit. They don't even look at their rating.
Well, because they're already at the top.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. They don't look at their DUPR as a status. I can guarantee you Ernesto doesn't look at his DUPR as a status. He cares whether or not he wins.
They wins, exactly. Those pro, like the 5.5 plus, they only cares about if they win or they lose, right? They don't care about the process.
Exactly, right?
Well, they care about the process, but don't care about like the.
They care about whether they get better process. They don't care about the rating process.
Exactly.
But that's what I mean. That's the mentality that should be taught all the way down through pickleball. It's not the rating.
It's not going to happen.
No, but that's what I mean.
Happening.
That's the problem. That's my whole problem with this situation is that everyone is chasing this status that realistically is just there as a guideline and doesn't mean as much as what everyone thinks it means. I would rather win a gold medal at provincials or nationals and have my rating drop a point or two than go there and get knocked out in 2 games and my rating go up a couple points.
And that's the problem. That's you that was that, but not
that's the mentality you're supposed to have. This is a sport.
80% of the population right now, the 80% of the pickleball population is going to take that 0 and 2 and having that rating going up.
That's the problem. That's the problem. This is what I mean by this toxic mentality that is infecting pickleball. The goal of a sport is to win the game. It's not to my rating. No, that's sports in a nutshell. There's always a winner and a loser.
I know.
I'm not talking about. And if someone wants to pop in, not for little kids. That little kids is development. You're teaching fundamentals. I'm talking about 3.5 all the way up to like 5.0. Even if you want to go 5.5 or just below 5.5, it's up to you. The goal of sports is to be competitive and to try and win, not try to get your rating up.
Yes,
it's not the brownie point. The brownie points aren't the goal. I understand why DUPR made the change to say, hey, if you were a 4.2 and you took a 5.0 or like a 4.7 to like extra points, so say it's 12-10 or like 13-11, you shouldn't get faulted for that. I understand the thing. I understand the thinking of that, right? Because realistically, you're not really a 4.2 then. The fact that you competed that well and pushed that high level player to that, you should be rated higher.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. I don't disagree that part.
And what I think should happen is because I haven't looked at enough of my scores to games where according to DUPR I should have won and then lost, how much I go down. Realistically, if you're going down anything that's 0-0 something, who gives a shit, to be honest with you? We're talking about 0-0, like a decimal 0-0, like 1 or 2. Like I don't care. To me, honestly, like let's put it this way: my DUPR went down after our tournament in MiLP. For me, I don't care as long as I'm hovering anywhere from like 4.5 to 4.8, 4.9 right now. I don't give a crap because that's roughly where I should be.
Yeah, but because we made it to that level.
Yeah, but we worked our way up to that. But I also have no problem playing against someone who's a 4.2 in a tournament. If you want to enter in now, I'm still going to try and kick your ass. My goal every match is to kick the other team's ass.
For sure.
I'm not being nice. If I can body bag you, I'm going to body bag you. If this is a tournament. It's different if we're playing rec. I might focus on, more drop shots and stuff until they show me how capable they are. And then I'll try different stuff because that's rec. Rec is basically your training in a game like situation. And that's how I treat it. Like, for example, yesterday for club, we had an open gym and we said, okay, guys, we're going to mix. So it was like me, Chris Kennedy, were like the only 2 people, 4.5. Everyone else was like a 4.2 or even below that. Right. So I'm like, yes, if I wanted to, I could take 90% of the court and destroy everybody if I really wanted to. But where I said, 1, that's not fun for me. 2, that's not fun for them. So what am I going to do? Okay, well, I really want to work on my third shot drop, or I really want to work on my slice cross dink, or something like that. So I turn it into a training session and I focus on that. But I also don't focus on making a bad shot that I know I can get away with because I'm playing lower level players who aren't going to make me pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm basically turning it into intense drilling for myself.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But there's players now, because of that stupid status thing, they won't even play with those people. So you're not by playing with just your group of 5 or 6 people, you're not challenging yourself anymore, because like me and Vic have had this conversation multiple times. You know everybody's shots.
Yeah, and that's the problem. When you know too much, you're like, uh-oh.
Like because Vic, how many people did I catch with some of my shots that they're not used to seeing at
sure.
MiLP, right? Because they're not used to seeing me do that. Same thing. There's players that I've never played against before at that tournament who they caught me with a couple things because I wasn't used to seeing that shot.
Yeah.
Right. But like, so you're not challenging yourself, and you're going to plateau if you gatekeep, right? And you just play within your little 5 groups, right?
Yeah.
Also, you're slowing the growth of new talent coming up. A great example of that from our MiLP event is Julian, who played with those 2 young boys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, and these 2 boys were really, really good for their age. I think, want to say the one little kid was 10, maybe 10, 11.
I don't even know what his age is.
Right, insanely good little player. Right,
like I'll say
I can
myself at that age, I'm not playing.
Oh yeah,
there's no chance I'm playing it.
Exactly right, but
like that good.
But I give Julian a ton of props for this, because there's no way he went into this tournament thinking, "Oh, we're gonna win." Yeah, but he's like, I'm gonna try my ass off, right? I'm gonna try my ass off and still try to win, but I'm not going into it with the expectation of that. But these two kids want the experience, and they want to play good. If anyone came to me and bitched about that young team playing, I would have said, "What the hell are you talking about? This is the future. They are the future of the sport."
Who's there? Well, the other guy, he played with Ben all the time, though. Like
but he was a sub. He was a sub for the older brother who was sick.
Yeah.
Right. So then you're talking about Dominic, right?
Yeah,
but
Dominic's
Dominic's already been playing at that high level.
He's proven to be good. Like, right?
But if you would have had both brothers play, what I mean is that they might have gotten beaten by every team, but they were holding their experience. It was good experience for them, and they were holding their own. Right. It's not like they were getting blown off the court. They were doing really good rallies. They were getting to balls that I thought the point was over when me and Chris were playing them. Right. Like, but that's what I mean. I was like, but if you just went by DUPR, no one would have wanted them in the tournament.
Yeah.
Right. So you would have killed that growth of these young kids that are basically the future of the sport, because you need to keep cultivating talent.
Yep.
Right. And like I said, it's created this kind of elitist culture where you have, and people are starting to notice this culture. You're going to turn away potential athletes from joining and getting in on pickleball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you have natural athletes who come in and they might have a tennis or a squash background. It's like, oh, I want to try this pickleball, but because they have 0 rating, but they clearly have some natural ability and they're able to advance quickly. This culture is now stifling that, and they're just not going to like the sport enough to take it up full time, which hurts the sport in the long run, because you're eventually going to water down everything, because everyone's going to get too old to play at the proper high level, and all of a sudden you have this big vacant spot in like that 3.5 to 4.5 category.
Yeah.
Because no one's been able to improve, because you're killing it that way. So it's like, it's on both sides. So it's the people who are trying to cheat the system and get up to that status way too high, and then there's the people who are being this elitist thought process of like, well, I'm a 4.5 and I want to keep myself at a 4.5, so I don't want to play with anyone who's like a 4.2.
Wow, I'm guilty of it somewhat. I gotta go in there.
No, but that's what I mean. It's weeding its way into the culture, right? And we're acknowledging that it is, but so the big question is now, because I've been rambling on about this forever, how do you stop it? Or what's the solution? So I had one idea, and this still can be gamed. I'm not saying this is a perfect idea, but one of my options is DUPR has a because it has the reliability score, right? But you can bump that reliability score up with rec games. Yep. You have a tournament only reliability score that can only be affected by entered games. So if you want to keep that 4.5 status proper, you have to go to tournaments and perform well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or else that reliability is going to drop, right? So I don't know if has to be something that tournaments have to enter it in a specific way, and there's no way you can, like I said, the technical side of it, I'm just throwing this out as like a hypothetical. You have a second reliability circle there that can only be entered in by a tournament, like a registered tournament. Now, obviously, someone could say, okay, well, they have DUPR Plus for that. The problem with DUPR Plus is you have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
And right now, a
maybe
DUPR Plus right now isn't enough of a thing, at least in Canada, to convince the majority of the populace to pay the extra money to get it.
Or I will go to the tennis route. Like that's my thinking, because I came from a tennis background. DUPR as a rating can be only enter as a proper tournament. Like the rating can only be, like you said, like you say DUPR.
I'm saying sort of the same thing.
For me a little different. DUPR has to be only tournament, and for everything else, if like for clubs and everything, you should actually find a real going back to the assessment route. Like you have some has someone to assess. Obviously, it's not backing. There's not a lot of things, like people can be complaining. Oh, that assessor is going against me. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but you're always going to have people who whine about an assessment all the time, regardless.
Obviously for sure. Yeah. But at least you have some sort of assessment. Let's say, like someone from Pickleball Canada or USAP come up with like a proper guideline. You need to make this shot. You need to make this amount of shot. You need to be able to. I have someone that is like let's say you're challenging yourself for a 4-5. Okay, I have someone that is already 4-6, 4-7. You need to make at least how many points against this guy or this lady at that assessment. Something like that. I would say so people are not being too focused. I want to protect my freaking DUPR, because now my DUPR is going to be tournament only. I don't give it doesn't affect anything that you play in the club or in whatever rating. That club rating is actually owned not by only the club, but like, let's say Pickleball Canada or like Pickleball Alberta or like USAP. Everyone has the same freaking guideline, and like all the assessor has the same freaking guideline. And it's gonna assess the person with the same guideline. Yes, people still can complain, but at least you have a database of someone that has the same guideline assessed by the same a person that has been certified with the same guideline. So there you go. This is what you get, rather than actually having leave it to DUPR to do the somewhat assessment, which it can fluctuate so much.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think you're kind of saying the same thing as me. Like, I'm offering it within the DUPR system, saying you have a separate either reliability, or if you even want to say a separate rating, that's a tournament only rating type of thing. So like you'd have two DUPR ratings. This is your kind of base one, and then this is your official tournament rating type of thing, right? Like
kind of thing. That's I'm because like when I was coming from tennis, the only rating you're gonna have is either with the ITF, so the International Tennis Federation, or with the UTR. Like if a lot of people heard about that UTPR, that doesn't exist anymore because USAP is ditching it. So now basically the UTR is actually technically a tennis rating, but the only time you're gonna have score enter the UTR is you play in the tournament. If you don't play that freaking tournament, you don't even have a UTR. So like that's the thing. Like a lot of people kind of get confused with that. Like DUPR, like they think, oh, that DUPR number basically is my full whole rating. Is like, no, this is not your full rating. You like your club rating could be different than your tournament rating. And a lot of people, especially coming from tennis, they're like, oh my god, what this is like kind of my official rating, so I need to bump that thing up and whatever. Versus what it should have been is like when you play rec, club, whatever, that's a different assessment versus when you're playing tournament is a complete different tournament rating.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not talking like back to like the CTPR where it only could be a sanctioned tournament that could bump your thing up because there's not enough tournaments to do it properly.
No, it's not going to happen.
Because then you feel like you're sandbagging. But if they make every tournament like that's like I said, like so if we just use my example of there's 2 ratings now on DUPR. There's your kind of base rating, which you can get from playing like ladder leagues and whatever, and in your club and stuff like that, if you want to enter those. And then you have your tournament rating, which can only be bumped up or down via a tournament.
Yes.
Right. And then they have each of those have their own reliability wheels. Obviously, your basic one would probably be at 100 all the time because then you could put club ones in and who cares. Right.
Yeah. But I'll
then
say,
your tournament one wouldn't go up unless you've played in at least like 1 or 2 tournaments type of thing. And like, yes, there's still problems with that, but at least for me, then it's like it's gonna stop this. Well, I don't want to go to tournaments because I don't want my DUPR rating to go down. Well, guess what? Your reliability is gonna go down if you don't go to tournaments. Type of thing. You can't get away with just playing a fun ladder league with your 5 buddies where everyone just kind of stays where they are because you guys are all so close, and regardless, unless someone actually blows someone out, the ratings aren't going to really change.
Yeah, but another thing also, well, I'm a little biased. Sorry, I'm saying that right away. I'm a little biased, that's because I'm a referee. Like another thing with like especially with tournaments, like even like the non-sanctioned ones, when there is no referee, you can do whatever shit possible in order to win to win, right?
Yeah.
So example, I remember that those if you're looking at on my camera, look at my finger, that freaking illegal paddle. If I want to get my DUPR higher, I just need to play with that freaking paddle. I just gotta start body bagging you with this paddle from the back of the court every freaking time. And there's a reason why this paddle is not legal, because it's way too much powerful, and gives you like basically zero time reaction to try to dodge it.
Yeah.
Other example. If I want to make sure I win in every tournament, there's non-ref, I just gonna step into the kitchen every time so that I gain that half an inch advantage every time I volley the ball. Or another way, every ball that's passed behind my that's out of my reach, I call it out. You have no, like, as an opponent, you have zero say if I call that freaking ball out, right?
Yeah.
And that will be a problematic if that DUPR, like let's say we have a DUPR rated a tournament DUPR that is enforced, you need to have some weight in a different tournament. If there's no non-referee matches, maybe that shouldn't be weighted as high.
Versus, basically like DUPR plus.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit kind of thing. So like if it's a match that has been played with referee, that should be have a much higher weight versus a one that is non-ref.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that's what DUPR is trying to do with the DUPR Plus and DUPR Plus rated tournaments, where you verify it by putting your phone number in, and basically, so now if you play in a DUPR Plus tournament, the ratings actually do get affected better.
Yeah, but the current problem is
the current problem is because that's
doesn't matter.
The problem right now is there's no DUPR Plus like really in Canada, because right now, like, basically telling people, it's like, hey, you also have to spend what I know we calculated
$5 per month, something like that.
Something like that, or it was like 6 something Canadian per month or something like that. I know we calculated it on a previous podcast, but I like the idea of that, but the problem right now is, one, there's not enough, especially when we're talking mostly Canada here. There's not enough tournaments that can even enforce that right now, because now people aren't just going to sign up. Because I actually had this conversation with Yui, because this year in the States, all MiLP events are DUPR Plus. So you have to have a DUPR Plus account to play in them.
Yeah, I know.
And when they announced that, I asked, I said, okay, is that happening in Canada? And he goes, well, I don't know. He goes, the original plan was yes. And he goes, well, what do you think? And I said, well, the problem is that I said, now that DUPR is the official rating system for everyone, unless Canada sanctioned tournaments are going to be called DUPR Plus, you don't want MiLP to be DUPR Plus because then you're the only thing in Canada that has the DUPR Plus requiring people to pay the extra fee to get rated. I said, you're gonna isolate yourself too much. I said, especially because you're still new. Right, because like we said, like we said this earlier in the podcast, we're already having issues with people signing up for some of ours. Same thing in BC, they're having some issues with people signing up. So could you imagine if it's now, aside from also paying the registration fee, you also now have to pay $6 a month to DUPR just to be able to play in this tournament, right? Like it's not a thing right now, right? Like but like for example, if Canada comes out and says, okay, if you want to be a sanctioned tournament, you also have to be so provincials have to be sanctioned. If we do regionals again, they have to be sanctioned. Obviously, nationals is sanctioned, right? So if you want your tournament to be sanctioned, it has to be a DUPR Plus event, right? Now the big thing with that is okay. Well, then Pickleball Canada, then you have to provide more assistance than just a possibility of like $500 to assist with registration, with running the tournament. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To assist with referees and stuff. So. And a sanctioned event we already know that a sanctioned event in Canada requires refs to some extent, right? So, but that's what I mean. Like it's one of those things where this isn't a quick fix problem, but the problem is if people don't try to fix this quickly, pickleball is going to lose all of its momentum. It's been the fastest growing sport in North America for the last 5-6 years.
It's already kind of plateauing in
well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's starting to plateau because of this, and this issue is one of the main issues. Why?
Yeah, for sure.
Is people looking at rating as a status,
mm-hmm.
where it's like, no, your goal when you go to a tournament should not be, is my rating going to go up? It should be, am I going to win, or I'm going to try to win. That's always been my philosophy with any sport I play. Is I'm playing this game to win. I'm not playing yes, have fun is. I know we say everyone wants to have fun, but whatever. Winning is very fun.
Yeah,
but you play the game. I'll say it again. You play to win the game. The whole point of a game is to try and win, not to try and get a participation trophy by having your rating slightly go up. Now, if you play a really good competitive match and you happen to lose against a higher level player, that's a little bit of bonus that your rating went up a little bit because it's rewarding you for performing well, even though you lost.
Yeah,
right. So that's why I never really had a problem with the algorithm changing to allow that, right? And like we said, I said right when DUPR announced this is going to take 3 to 4 years, and people actually honoring the system probably for it to actually have everyone fall into where they're supposed to fall. Because look what they had to change on the thing. Because before 4 years ago it's actually almost 6 years ago now. When I first started playing pickleball, they used to say, okay, 2.5 or whatever is beginner. 3.0 is your kind of whatever. 3.5 you're moderate. 4.0 you're advanced. 4.5 you're not expert, but you're better advanced. And 5.0 is pro. They have now switched 5.5 to being the standard for pro.
Yeah, I know.
Because too many people are now in that 4.5, 5.0 thing. And that's because DUPR is inflated. Right?
Yes.
Think of it as like a currency. That's why I don't take DUPR rating as seriously as some people, because realistically, I'm there's people who are 5.0 who I beat on a consistent basis. And my rating is a 4.6 something, 4.7, hovers around anywhere between a 4.6 and a 4.8. And 4.9 roughly. It's where my rating continually hovers depending on how well I do in a tournament. Right? Yep. And I've consistently beaten people who are at a 5.0, 4.999 rating. I'm like, okay, either I'm not rated high enough or you're rated too high. If I'm consistently beating you, yes, the games are close, but I'm consistently beating you.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So, but that's what I mean. And so hanging on to this status, that's just supposed to be there for a guideline. Right? Because if we think about it, the divisions are 4.0 to 4.99 normally as a tournament. That is a massive jump if you're talking about points rating, right?
I know.
Same thing. They have a 4.0 or 4.5 and sometimes above, or sometimes a 4.5 to like 4.99. Then they have a 5.0 or slash open event. So you mean to tell me someone who's a 4.99 and someone who's a 4.001, right? So because like when they play each other, it's not necessarily going to be equal, or they might be equal. So what does that mean? The 4.99 is too high, or does that mean the 4.001 just hasn't played enough games to move themselves up?
Yeah.
Right.
I
Like
know.
there's a big jump there in rating, a 4.001 to a 4.999, or 4.4999 is what I meant. Like to fit into that column. So that's a big encompassing thing. So that's why when someone is a 4.2 and they want to play in the 4.5, right, against like say a 4.7, 4.9, but then they go ahead and beat them. That's what I mean. It's the result is what matters. Did you win the tournament or did you go really far in the tournament? Stop worrying about, oh, I went down from a 4.7 to a 4.6. Honestly, who gives a crap? They're roughly the same. Because the division itself is a 4.5 to like a 4.999 or a 4.5 and up. So you going from a 4.7 to a 4.6 shouldn't make a difference. That you are within the range you should be.
Yeah, that's the mentality.
No, but that's what I mean. The mentality, like, oh, I went because I heard someone complain because they lost the game. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be a 5-0 anymore. Well, what were you, a 5-0 on the dot? And you dropped to what, a 4.98? Like, who gives a crap? That's the same. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Aside from a couple decimals of numbers, right? Like this is the problem. Everyone's taking that thing as like it's the word of God. Like that rating is the word. It's like, no, it's not. I was like, because like I said, we just like looking at those pros. We have someone who's a 5.7 whatever is literally the back-to-back national champion and the back-to-back CMPL champion. Has the lowest rating out of the 4 pros I listed.
I know.
And I'm sorry if we were to take away those DUPR scores, and I were just to give you those accolades, who are you picking? You're picking the person who's the back-to-back national champion and the back-to-back CMPL champion. It'd be no different than like a couple years ago. Here's a good one. So a couple years ago, just when I got into pickleball, Jorge had a higher rating than Brad Chapman.
I know. Yep.
Okay. But you look at accolades, Brad Chapman was what, a 5-time national champion, and Jorge hadn't won any of that. Who are you going to pick? You're going to pick the person who has a winning pedigree. You're not going to pick the person who just happens to have a high DUPR rating.
That's what you wish for. You wish.
No, but if you're thinking logic, like if you're thinking as an athlete or as whatever you want to think, anyone who picks a 6-0 who hasn't won jack shit over a 5.8 or 5.9, who is literally the back-to-back open champion, you're an idiot. Right? You are. I'm sorry. Until proven otherwise, Ernesto is the best player in Canada.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree.
And obviously he's not going to be at nationals this year because CMPL is because nationals for stupid reasons put it at the same time as the CMPL season finale.
Yeah.
Right. So he won't be the national. Obviously he won't be the national champion anymore. Right. But if he wins a 3rd CMPL title in a row,
oh, for sure, that's a different story.
I'm like you can't say he's not.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Because that would be the one spot where I would say, okay, I'm letting you off the hook for not winning nationals because you had a scheduling conflict with a pro tour. Yeah. Right? That's different. But what I'm talking about is back-to-back years national champion in both men's doubles and mixed doubles, and then back-to-back champion in a team event where you're the best player. Where you're the best player on the team.
For sure, I'm not going to blame him taking CMPL over.
He's getting paid. He's getting paid for that. That's what I mean. Definitely. He's a pro player getting paid for that. But this is what I mean. It's like people looking at that DUPR rating as the end-all to beat-all. It's meant to be there as a guideline for fair play. But people get better over time as they practice. They might not go to tournaments as much because they can't. Like me, I gotta drive. Victor knows this. It's a 10-hour round trip for me just to go to Edmonton.
I know.
Right, which is where the closest tournament is. Which is why, if you look at me and Irene's progression, We played 3-0. We'd win a couple 3-0. We'd come back the next year going to 3-5. Our rating was still at like a 3.2, and then we'd beat everybody.
I know.
And it's like, oh, why are they so good? Their rating doesn't say that. And it's like, because we've been practicing all winter, right? But like, if we were to go by the way people are doing the thing with DUPR now, me and Irene should have never been allowed in the 3.5.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and then someone's going to bitch about that we beat them and their DUPR went down. I'm like, well, we're better than you because we beat you, or we were at least better than you on that day because we beat you. But that's why you play. That's why you play this. That's why you play the game in the whole thing. The goal is to win the game. The people who win the tournament and get gold are the best players at the tournament at that time. And until proven otherwise, they're the best player at that rating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they were a 3.9 and they won the 4.5 division. Guess what? They're better than any other 4.5 rated person in that division because they beat them.
I know.
Right. But this, like I said, this is the problem because we have this rating, and this rating is people have given it too much credibility. Right. And like we said, it's very easily manipulated. Like if I wanted to right now, I would just grab a bunch of players from my club who are lower than me and say, okay, guys, this is all going into DUPR, and I would just spank everybody and jack my DUPR up.
Yeah.
Right. If I want to do that, if I really cared about status that much, I could make myself a 5-0 in 2 weeks playing club here for DUPR scores.
Yeah, for sure.
But for me, that's not. And I know there's not. I know I don't have. People don't have the same mentality as me, but the best team or the best player is the person who wins at the end. Like, put it this way, if it's US and Canada in the finals, I'll go back to the Olympics. In the finals for hockey at the Olympics and the US wins, US is the best team is the best country at hockey until the next Olympics or the next World Cup. Because they won. They got the gold medal. They're the best player. They're the best team in the world at that sport. Yeah, and you can say that's as a proud Canadian as this is our game, it's our team, we have the best players in the world type of thing. But if they lose, they didn't win when it counted. The team that won when it counted. It's no different than the Florida Panthers are the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. They've beaten the Edmonton Oilers twice. If you look on paper, especially that first year, the Edmonton Oilers are the better team. Yeah, if you look on paper. But I'm sorry. Who's the best team in the NHL? It's the Florida Panthers because they won.
Luckily, not this year.
Well, yeah, this year they're banged up like crap, and they might not even make the playoffs. But it's the same thing NBA. Like the year the Raptors won, on paper, Golden State Warriors far superior team, but who performed and who won? The Raptors did. They're the best team in the NBA, and people can throw out the injury crap. I'm sorry, team sport. It's not one player that wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? The only time you can ever say that is if it's a singles event, like in tennis, like in pickleball singles. That's the only time when you can say, oh, the person got injured and they're out. Okay, well, that sucks that they lost, and that's why that person happened to win. Right? But, and even then, did it happen before the game or did it happen during the game? And what was the score during the game when it happened? Like when we had our one Canadian beat Serena Williams, and Serena Williams had to pull herself out of the game midway through. She was already dominating Serena in that matchup before she won, because then she ended up beating Serena in the next finals at the next tournament, right? But
that was Bianca Andreescu.
Yeah, right. But what I mean is like, it put a little bit of a damper. Oh, she won because Serena got injured. I'm like, yeah, but she was already beating her before Serena had to pull herself out.
And also Serena was much older. Also, like
no, but what I mean, I'm not talking about like that. She was better than her on that day. Yeah. What I mean, tennis is different because, like you say, the best player in the world. That's when they say best and they're doing points. That's consistency over multiple tournaments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. But this is what I mean with pickleball. It's like, hey, who's consistently winning at tournaments all the time in Canada? And this is where I go back to Ernesto with the back-to-back national champs, back-to-back CNPL final winner. Right? So it's like, for me, that's why I said DUPR is good for let's get everyone sort of divided up so that, the play is kind of equally competitive and fair. But if someone is right on the cusp of moving up, let them come up and give it a try. If they get their ass kicked, okay, they know they need to stay down and work on some stuff. Yeah, at least that should be the mentality, right? But the problem is everyone looks at that status so hard. And like we said, there's people who are lower right now who are trying to game the system because they want that status, but that's because we've put it at that status. If you take away that status symbol of like, okay, this is just used as a reference, people like there's still going to be those people who look at it as a status. We can't change those people's minds. Those people are internally losers. But as pickleball as a whole and pickleball as a community, we need to stop holding DUPR rating at or whatever rating at that high of a standard.
Well, we should stop glorifying.
Yeah, exactly. So perfect. That's the perfect word for it, Vic. Glorifying it, because it's gonna slowly kill the game. You're killing it by doing it, and the resulting factors of the toxicity on both sides of it is killing the momentum that pickleball is having. There's already other issues with pickleball that still need to be fixed, like the self-line calls and stuff like that we've been over hundreds and hundreds of times. But if you want the sport to keep growing and keep getting better and better and better and keep cultivating talent, which everyone should want, because the more good players there are, the more good matches you have, the better you end up getting because you're playing higher level talent constantly. Right? And I'll use what you said. We have to stop glorifying that rating system because it's meant to be a guideline. It's not the end all to beat all. The end all to beat all is winning. Yeah. Like I said, I don't care if my rating goes down, but if I win, that's what I care about.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think a lot of people well, it is what it is. Is it going to change? We don't know. Time will tell. But I will say either DUPR needs to change, either the governing body need to do something about it. And this is not just something we can do something about it. We can rant about it. We can have an opinion about it and everything. But we hopefully all the other governing body is going to pick that up.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because like we both love this sport, or else we wouldn't be doing this podcast, right? So
yeah, exactly.
We like and that's why I said it pains me to see this mentality creeping its way in, and I've seen it creep in other sports as well beforehand as well. Like basketball has had a really bad run of toxicity in that sport. Now for different reasons, not for ratings or ever, but for like different style of play. Mm-hmm. But like it's the same thing. It's stifling the sport, right? Definitely. So that's the last thing you want to do. You want the sport to keep growing. You want the sport to keep improving. So the little bit of cancer that we have growing right now with the DUPR that is slowly starting to affect everybody, you have to cut it out, or at least treat it with something to fix the issue. So then, yes, you may still have some people who glorify it, but you want the majority of the populace not to be glorifying it, being like, I'm going to a tournament because I want to try and win, or I want to see how well I do now that I've moved up.
Yeah.
Right. Like using it as a litmus test. So yeah, those are the two reasons for me to go to tournament, is to try and win. And even when I'm using it as a litmus test, I'm still trying to win, but I know that it's going to be tougher type of thing. Right. So, but that's sports. That's the ultimate goal, is to win the game. Right. And if you lose, hopefully you learn something from it, that what do I need to work on?
Yeah.
Right. That's, for me, that's sports in a nutshell. And that's what sports should always be. And this status crap is starting to hurt the sport, one of the sports that I love, and it's pissing me off. Hence why we've gone on this like hour-long rant about it. So
yeah, definitely. I think it's a long rant. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hey everyone, we want to give a big shout out to one of our sponsors, Kling Pickleball Compression Wear. They're a Canadian-based company that is made specifically for pickleball players by pickleball players. I personally love their compression socks. I use them all the time when I'm in tournaments. However, they are also the designers of the CMPL Northern Lights jerseys, which you can get at their shop. Irene also loves their ladies compression tops, and she wears those when she plays in the tournaments, as well as the socks as well. So head on over to klingpickleball.com and check out what they got in stock for you. Back to the episode.
That's do we have anything last minute, Vic, that we need to talk about, or we kind of covered everything?
I think we covered mostly everything. On my side might be trying to get a couple more Canadian company in to talk about their their paddle and equipment. So I think next week I have Apollo is gonna I'll be able to talk to Apollo probably. That's based in Edmonton actually. I haven't re-messaged Justin because I was dealing with Shingo. So we'll talk about his company Le Conchon, that we'll talk about another company NXT from Toronto. I actually met them 2 years ago, I'm not mistaken, in at the High Sport Sturtville, and then I met them again in Pickleplex Red Deer. So I'll try to get them in. Maybe Chuckle. Apparently, Derek told me they actually have some paddle or got finally approved by USAP. So they will be launching some new paddles. So we'll see if I can get Derek or Charity in to talk about their some of the company, because so yeah, I think that I was still talking about some of the US paddles. Obviously they have so many. So it's, if you're following the paddle market, is freaking insane, the amount of paddles just launching per
I can't keep a track of all the names. There's like 7 different companies now that have just some random numbers in their name, and I'm just like, I got nothing. I can't.
You just have to look at the USAP approved list. I think there's over 6,000 plus paddle in there. So you're like, oh my God, good luck knowing every like I know most of the most talk and most influential one, but there's always those little small niche one. You're like, okay, what's that company? Where does it come from? And there's also a lot of the other podcast talks about them already. So that's why I feel like also we should give a little spotlight about the Canadian one, because basically if you look at on most of the Pickleball podcasts, they don't talk about the Canadian ones. Unless, and first of all, it's very difficult. They're more difficult accessible to them. Secondly, I think unfortunately, most of Canadian companies are slightly behind our US company in terms of technology, and which is not their fault. It's just because the US company started way before the Canadian company, right? So,
and you also have to sell enough to get your budget up, so then that way you can pursue doing like a Gen 4 paddle as well.
Not just Gen 4, like the quality control, the QC, right? It's not like right now only probably Selkirk or a couple of like Yola, they have enough capital to basically do their own QC in their factory. Like no other small company can do their own QC anywhere. They have to rely on that manufacturing company in China is gonna do it for them, right? So, which is difficult, and at the same time, with like currently with the tariff and everything, like if you don't want to spend that money all the way over there, like in the US, like you can just buy it from Canada. That's something's from a Canadian company, is that easier, so you don't have tariff and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so looking forward to that, Vic. Those should be some really good interviews. So everyone, make sure you tune in for the Canadian Spotlight on Paddles of the Hub, so you can see some local brands that you can give a try out. And I love a lot of them, because a lot of them you can one, they're way cheaper than some of the U.S. companies, and then two, like if you're like, say for example, because I can't remember which one you said before, Vic, but you said like one, you just add some weights on the side, and it was basically like in quotes, poor man's boomstick.
Yeah.
Because so like there's a lot of these ones where if you're okay with doing slight modifications with the weights and stuff, you can basically get the equivalent of like one of those high powered super pricey paddles that runs for like almost 400 Canadian for like 120, 100, like $200 Canadian. So, and
exactly.
it's always nice to buy from your own backyard. Like obviously I already have my Canadian company, who I'm still trying to get on for you, Vic. I'm still bugging them, but and I know they're working on a Gen 4 paddle right now, so I'm super excited about that. But no,
I think
it's like,
and especially Gen 4 at this point, every Gen 4 paddles are pretty good. The only kind of I think there's just maybe two companies that make it different. Is Spartus with their P1 and their 11624 with their new Vapor Power 2, that they added a much longer lasting grip at this point. And some of the paddle reviewer actually did testing, and they actually has a grip retention much higher than other paddles. So I will be interesting to see if some of our like Canadian company can jump the gun on making some of those higher long lasting grip, because I think like getting that Gen 4 paddle is not going to be difficult now, because all the manufacturing in China does the same ones. But now, what do you going to add more towards the paddle? That's more important. If you don't add anything more to the paddle, there's zero distinction between this paddle versus this paddle. Therefore, why am I paying $400 versus something's $200 or $100, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much. I know you probably listened to me rant about DUPR for way too long, but I really wanted to get that point across. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We got a little bit of a break here, Vic, until CMPL starts up, but I'm sure there's going to be some more news and stuff coming up really quickly. The good games are this weekend. I saw that Brad Chapman and Caitlin Soroka were playing in it, so we might be able to cover that
Julian
a little
was
bit.
there.
Julian, I saw in the video Julian was playing against them, so that's good. So hopefully that was a good turnout. Unfortunately, I had to work, so couldn't make it down. Vic, of course, recovering from shingles, so he couldn't make it down. We were hoping one of us could, but it is what it is. So, but other than that, thank you for listening, everyone. Hit like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. Once again, don't worry too much about that rating. The goal is to win the game. Go Canada, go! And we'll see you guys next time.